So I think as a teen, it can be pretty hard to know how to talk to your parents, guardians, or just adults in general, because you are getting to this really weird stage in life where you're not a child, like you're not a kid anymore, but you're not an adult either. You still need to respect your parents' rules, but you're also getting to the point where you're wanting to know why the rules are there. And usually if you're to challenge your parents and ask them questions, they're not gonna like that. But you also are getting to the point where you do deserve some explanations sometimes. So in today's video, I'm going to talk with you on how to have a conversation with your parents or guardians, how to connect better with adults. And this isn't just so you can find a way to get what you want, but just because as you get older, it is so important to learn how to talk to adults, because adults are the ones that make decisions in life. They're the ones that are going to be interviewing you for a job. Like, you have to get to the point where you know how to talk to adults. But that can be pretty daunting, especially because as teens, we've grown up in this digital world where a lot of our communication is done through our phones, which has kind of stunted our actual communication skills. So I'm going to do my best to give you some useful tips so you don't have to feel that nervousness and anxiety anytime you have to talk to your parents or other adults. My very first advice I have for you is make sure you're always being respectful. Sometimes it's hard to respect things you don't agree with. Meaning, if your parents are putting rules on you and you just don't really agree with the rules, it's hard to be respectful. But the truth is, in this situation, they are the adults. And even if what they're doing isn't right, you still have to be respectful because you're the child. And plus, if you aren't respectful, adults are not going to give you the time of day. Anytime you have something valuable to actually add, they're not even gonna listen, because they're going to assume whatever you have to say is going to be disrespectful and it is going to dismiss what they have to say, and they're not going to want to have a conversation about anything. So you need to start off really by being respectful and by truly understanding that they are the adults in this situation, and at the end of the day, they do deserve your respect. Second, don't be afraid to ask questions. I think a lot of times as teens, we are really afraid to ask questions because we don't either feel safe enough to ask those questions, or we don't know if our parents even want to have conversations with us, especially like tough conversations. But I can tell you right now, most parents would actually be really honored that you are asking them questions, because usually parents feel like kids don't want to talk to them. They feel like their kids think that they are just these annoying people that have to just be there to feed them and pay their bills. Like, parents are also a little sad because they don't have that connection with you anymore now that you're getting older. And so asking questions is a really good way to start being a little closer to them. So some ways you can practice this is if you are just having a hard time with something that's going on at school, maybe your friends are kind of leaving you out or they're not hanging out with you as much, don't be afraid to ask your mom or your older sister, like, hey, why do you think my friends don't want to hang out with me as much? Because the truth is, they have probably gone through those same things. We think that our parents are ancient and they can't possibly understand what we're going through, but they do. They know what you're going through, because we all have gone through a lot of similar experiences in life. They might have gone through them 20 years ago, but they can understand in one way or another. So ask questions, ask for help. Parents want to feel useful because they went from doing everything for you, they used to literally wipe your butt for you, to all of a sudden feeling like they are not needed anymore. So you asking them for help is actually going to really make them feel loved, and they'll feel more free to initiate conversations with you. So if you really want to be able to have those deep talks with your parents or other adults, you need to kind of be willing to initiate them. So this next tip is going to be a little weird, but this is probably like the most important tip, and that is, if you want to learn how to talk to your parents and other trusted adults, be interested in them and their life. So I'm gonna ask you a question and really think about it. Think about your mom or a mother figure in your life, or your dad or a father figure in your life, and ask yourself, okay, who is my mom? Like, what is her personality like? What is her life outside of being a mother to me? What is my dad's life outside of being a father to me? What are the feelings my mom and dad might have? Like, how do they handle emotions? And do they have struggles? So you might be thinking, okay, well, that's like odd. Like, I don't know. They're just my mom and dad. And the thing is, that's how we all think of our parents. We kind of don't really think of them as real people. We just kind of think of them as like, they're just mom and dad, like they're parents. I don't know. I don't know what my mom was like back when she was in high school or when she was my age, because we think like that was just such a long time ago. And the only way we've known our mom is after a certain age of her life. Like, I've only known my mom from age 40 and on, because I got adopted when she was like 40. So as I got to college, she would be like giving me some advice and stuff, and I'm like, wow, like how does she know these things? And it hit me like, oh my gosh, like my mom used to be a college student back in the day. And then I started thinking like, oh my gosh, like my mom had a life before me. Like, she isn't just a mom, like she literally had a whole life before us kids came into her life. And whenever I started thinking of my mom as an actual person who has gone through actual experiences, it really made me like feel like I could actually talk to her, because I was no longer thinking she was just this mom that doesn't know anything. I was thinking of like, she's my mom and she knows so much because she's already gone through it before. So kind of think of that. I know it's hard to see your parents like actual human beings. Like, it's just weird. You just think of them as mom and dad. But if you think of them as people who've gone through life experiences, it makes them a little bit more like relatable, and it makes you want to get to know them even more. So if you want to have connections and relationships with them, like, ask them about their life. The last advice I have for you when it comes to talking to your parents or other adults is be honest. I know oftentimes as teens, we're very afraid of consequences. So we are tempted to lie to our parents. And the more you lie, the less trust your parents are going to have in you. And the less trust they have in you, the more they're going to treat you like a kid instead of like a grown-up. So before they treat you like a grown-up, they're going to really want to be able to trust you, but they can't trust you if you're constantly lying or sneaking around. I know whenever you do something bad that you think you'll get in trouble for, it's gonna be really hard to just come out clean. But I promise you, like, moms literally know everything. So even if you think you're hiding something, well, you're not. Like, they're gonna know. So it's just best if you're just flat out honest with them and let them know. And most of the times, honestly, parents, yes, they're probably gonna be mad when you first tell them, but they're going to look at that and be like, well, at the end of the day, that was a bad thing, but you were honest with me. And they're going to respect that so much more than if you would have just gone with your life lying. Also, having those kind of habits and forming those habits right now is going to be so useful in life, because, I mean, you are not going to make it far in life if you're not an honest person. So practice honesty and practice how to earn people's trust. And that's going to get you really far in life. And don't think of yourself as like a burden to your parents. Adults will be the first ones to tell you that they learn a lot about life through kids. Like, us kids really teach our parents a lot. So you talking to your parents isn't a burden, it's actually a gift to them too. So think of it like that. Don't ever think like you're a bother for wanting to talk to your parents. And don't be afraid to talk to your parents, because most likely they will be so happy that you're willing to take time to talk to them, because they don't feel like they're cool enough to deserve your attention either. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I've also done a lot more videos on like tips for teens. So if you want to check that out, I will leave the playlist in the description down below. But that is all I got for today. And until next time, bye.